leader. So when you do a combination of all these offerings and you also ask them, at the time when we are asking them the challenges, when we also ask them, what is it which will make you to believe that yes, there is a shift that has happened, both in the functional as well as in the behavioral aspect. Okay, what exactly? We go down at a very, very granular level and we ask them, okay, what is the shift in the behavior that you are seeking to see in the people? And often they are not able to understand that language. So you have to give them examples, in the sense of negative behavior or a positive behavior. When you explain it to them, they are able to articulate it. And then of course further then we have to articulate and we have to then go and validate. So it's a constant journey of approaching them, taking inputs, validating, going back to them, and then finally coming up with a framework which is a doable framework, win-win, and everybody is okay with it. And then we run that kind of exercise. So aligning it with the business goals in the form of values, vision, mission, it's always a good idea, I have found. Seeking sponsorship from seniors, doing the first workshop, whatever we launch, we try and launch it with the top management first. So that they are the ones who can become the brand ambassadors. They are the ones who can go and talk to their teams. Hey, I attended that program. Have you attended it? Or this is the way I am applying it. Have you applied it? Then taking not for every program. My colleague here was sharing about ROI. So not for every program we even attempt to do an ROI. No, we upfront we say, okay, this is a shift you want to see. We will come to that, and wherein after every quarter we will show you where has been the shift. So these are some of the practices that we use internally, and so constant. So I think that works for us.
Sir.
We have been very fortunate. You have seen our MD and CEO. He's so people oriented and he's all for
So
whatever I can propose, he will always go with that. Yeah.
Amit, please.
Nothing can be a better thing than
Yes,
fortunate.
and he has been
fortunate.
with the helm of affairs for quite some time now, and we have seen the phenomenal progress.
And he took out time to spend with the new joinees.
Achha.
200 of them. The CEO was interacting, he spent half a day.
Achha.
This is very commendable.
Wow.
Yes, every graduate engineer's batch or agriculture graduates, he makes it a point that he meets and spends time with
Achha.
So we have been fortunate that when he joined, our turnover was maybe 5,000-6,000 crores, and today last year it was 60,000 crores. So this is the type of growth our organization has seen. We were making 40 lakh tons of fertilizer, and now we are selling 130 lakh tons of fertilizer. So we were 7,500 plus at that time. Our people on our headcount, yes. And today, with this, and we were selling, I said 40-45 lakhs. And now, we are 4,300. All 5 plants, all marketing, where in every district we have presence, our marketing people are there. And corporate office, all included 4,300. So, he is a great leader. And he has this knack because nano fertilizer, he was attending some seminar in US and he found one Indian person giving a presentation. And because these great leaders have this knack of picking up the right intent. So when he came back, he said, he told us that you get this person with us. I want this person with it. And we set up this lab in our first plant, Cologne. And within 1 year, this was approved by government, and the act. To graduate from lab to commercial thing is first time you are doing it, and it was done so successfully. And our plant was set up in Cologne. Now it is 2 years now that we have further 2 more plants. So great leader, great decision making, all people oriented. We have our union thing. So when they come and they want some demand something, so he will always give more than what they are demanding. So such people oriented leaders are very
Very rare to find.
Very rare to find. So this budget and this thing are not our challenges. And we were talking about attrition. Absolutely no, less than 0.5%, hardly any attrition. So this is not our challenge because quality of life and work-life balance is so good. Our township, like other townships, have all the good facilities. So people generally, I joined as trainee and still with it for 84 to this thing. Mostly with all the people. Our directors who joined like me, I am senior, next is director, functional director, director technical who heads the technical thing, all the plant heads. They are all our people who joined as graduate engineer trainees. So this is the type of thing we are following. L&D is HR, as HR person, I am looking after that. And Mr. Ahmed Greg is helping us in our new training joins. We want to increase it and we will definitely do it.
So how big is the HR team right now?
HR team, we are here just 20 because all HR functions are automated now. Every HR function is automated. Even that chat box is there. Our FMD wants, he will ask how many people are there in our this department, this plant in marketing, how many employee will be there. He's so technology oriented. He wants we should have cutting edge this thing. So we have ERP, Oracle based HRMS is all computerized. So very blessed people. 4,300 is very
From
good number.
60,000 to 4,500.
7,500 plus.
Yeah.
Now 4,300.
Amazing.
Amazing. Because the wages are going very high. The wage bill is not coming down with all this right sizing. The wage bill is still because the best. He is for quite some time. We have been fortunate. Yes. Because we are board driven this thing. So our board decides to give him extension. And he is doing so well. So the board is all happy and happy. Greatly. No doubt about it. Now he has come up, a book has come on his biography, The Joys of Crisis. Because we have faced so many crises. When we acquired our Paradip plant, just to give one example, this was in 2005. We didn't have presence in eastern part of the country. We said we should have this. The plant was for sale. Oswal was running that plant, Paradip port nearby. So he said we should have presence there, and acquiring the land for new plant is very complicated thing. So he said at least we will have this land and everything. So when we bought it, after we bought it, he went there, it was in such a bad condition. He said, you get the process licensor who have set up this plant. So the people came from Germany and USA who were the process licensor. And their engineers, after studying the plant, they said this can't be revived. You would demolish this and plant it. So that came as a shock. So when they went back, our MD said that this we will revive it with our own resources, and we the people who had retired good this thing, we called them, and with our this thing, in 1 year the plant was running, and today it is giving the maximum profit. Our maximum profit is coming from that plant.
So you got the people who had already
Retired, the best of them, and they were so happy, working for the organization. They are already worked. So this is the type of leadership.
So I have seen an era wherein, I still remember NTLG being Korean company. So they're very impatient culturally. So I was basically managing a comprehensive role right from hire to retire, in addition administration, in addition payroll. So it was kind of and it was like one women army for almost like 200 plus people. So I was the only HR till 1 year, but then the very next year.
So you were reporting to Plaza.
So I was reporting to the Korean CEO.
Okay.
It was he was Mr. Shiv, Y.S. Shiv. So
No, the Indian CEO was YS.
no. For chemical and this
Okay, it was
pharmaceutical.
for sales. Yeah.
Yeah. So for consumer, it was Y.V. Verma was heading the HR,
Right.
and he was also directly reporting to the Korean. So my reporting was always been to stakeholders. I don't know if it is unfortunate or fortunate, but because being a part of startups, I've been always kind of very closely working with stakeholders right from the beginning, because I joined in a startup, so I was the only person, but that really gave me an edge to learn not only in my own domain, but yes, for other domains also, like operations, finance. So it's like jack of so many trades. So that's why. And so I was sharing an example of LG. So there my CEO gave me a challenge that I need a mindset change of my sales team, and I just need this change, paradigm shift of mindset in just 1 or 2 sessions. And it was like, it came as a surprise, and I was like hardly maybe 7-8 years of experience that time, and uh, I had to accept it. I mean, there was no option, because LG is known for open firing and open,
True.
so floor pe khade you were fired.
Yeah.
So after joining these kind of companies, any employee would carry a resignation copy all the time for at least 1 year. तो उसके बाद फिर वो settle हो जाता है.
लेके चलता है.
Exactly. So what happened, and I arranged a person, Santosh Babu, if you've heard
Yes,
of him. He's a
Odi.
very Odi guy. And he is like amazing, I would say, and the kind of growth, he has shown over a period of time. So that time he used to take sessions himself. Now he has a big team.
Yeah.
So he was a hypnocrat, and he was he used to do a lot of wonders, like lifting people in air and making people walk on fire barefoot and all those things. So I actually identified that person, and he met my
Introduced,
CEO,
right.
introduced him to the Korean fellow, and that's how it started. And we took everybody to go, and then after that we made all the metrics, and so he said, yeah, during that time, during that session, I could see some mindset change. My team I found very aggressive and everything, but after that is lost. So I try to convince him that this is kind of gradual process, and reinforcement has to come. Culture has to come from top to bottom. So like Chitra rightly said, it's a participative thing, wherein you get everybody together, take their opinions, and actually make them, you need to actually bring out that need from people, so they become owners actually. And we as HR become facilitators, and people themselves, because they need to realize that there is a need, there is a skill gap. So once they realize, they take the owners, and then driving any sort of initiative becomes very easy. And secondly, what I have seen faced as a challenge, that training to theek hai, but then Saturday Sunday, why Saturday Sunday, the weekends? I mean, it's one of the challenge which I have faced in that era also, and now in fact I would say it has really come down, because e-learning has come up. Like in Walker, we have a tie-up with Coursera. So, but it's really unfortunate nobody uses it. We still have that mindset of attending a session offline कि कोई trainer खड़ा है, and there is a personal touch, and we actually take inputs from there. But when it comes to e-learning, you have to really push them hard. I mean,
You cannot judge whether the participant is active in e-learning or not.
Absolutely.
Only
And-
challenge, and it is the only worst challenge.
Actually, and it's so difficult to explain at least the stakeholders of IT organizations, because they are like technology geeks and they feel that why not e-learning, अब offline का कोई time नहीं है, and then e-learning is like much cheaper, but it's difficult to explain them when it becomes when it is behavioral training or coaching or mentoring, that human touch is very, very important. It is just not possible through online sessions at all. But that has always been, and I really want to ask, like, how to actually convince these, CEOs of the stakeholders of the IT organizations that, we still need offline sessions. We can't really. I'm not saying that we entirely shift to offline, but it has to be a mix, right? I mean, it is like it's not only e-learning. E-learning, I have seen. Is major failure in most of the organization. But yes, for technical sessions, still it is a success, but not for the behavioral sessions. So
My experience on behavioral is, yes, it is one-on-one, right? While on technology, right, people are definitely using the e-platforms.
right.
And even there were certain sessions which we have to organize because of the post-COVID scenario, wherein most of our technical trainers are across the world, and then they have to be connected together so that we get the maximum benefit of the resource available.
No, I
Yes,
totally. I believe, it is because it is technical or behavior. I think, technical, they are more open to about it seriously because it directly impacts their job. The major challenge that we HR and
get into the nitty-gritties, but then what I would do is first work upon these factors. I would see and try and understand what is this overall ecosystem. So third point is ecosystem. So my first one was analytics. Second was strategic. Strategic binds all of this. This entire thing that I'll be explaining would be called as strategic acumen. So under strategic acumen, I would have analytics. I would have financial. I would go to my stakeholders, which is I should know my ecosystem. What's going around this. Third is financial gain. Right. So my first point is if I've understood the ecosystem, I should have been able to interpret what value I bring in. Right. So all my training programs or anything that I would design around profit. I would keep and this comes as financial gain. I call it as financial gain because this is very simple for everybody to understand. Within the organization, you go to any vertical, I'll give you financial gain. I'll give you financial gain.
उसके बाद कुछ question नहीं होता है. I'm sure.
They're all cool.
We just want to hear that.
And then at the same point of time, global strategy as well. I'll have to go global environment and or when I say global environment, don't probably project it as environment across various demographies, but can be any extrinsic environment. So I have to be very conscious about it. Where the industry is directing, what might impact, whether it's a social policy, there's a government policy, there's an unrest. XYZ factors, right? I need to see whether there's a new metro project coming up. I need to see whether there's new flights coming up, there's new airports being developed. I mean, there's lot to it that you have to see. So similarly, I've seen over the course of time that what is AI or the digital disruption has done. So earlier we were talking about digital disruptions. Now we're talking about AI and everything, artificial intelligence going around. So I'll have to see that how it is going to consolidate certain factors. And one of the factors that I've seen over the course of time it is going to consolidate is the people aspect. And if you happen to see, right now the entire Hollywood is on strike.
Right.
You've got Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, everybody's on strike against AI. Right? Because this is how it is. They never know. You're sitting here, you don't know on the screen whether this is a Brad Pitt, actual Brad Pitt, or it is AI generated Brad Pitt. So I'm talking about that disruption. So here we're still thinking about in the organization कि मेरे field workforce कितनी है, उसको कैसे भेजे, उनको wine shops पे भेजे या फिर उनको probably और किसी किराना store पे भेजे या फिर acquire कैसे करें merchants. So you'll have to understand. See, we are not talking about percentages and growth. We are now talking about what amount of X that we want to add. So this is an era. This is a time where you have to, as a L&D folk or a HR folk, you have to have 10x approach. It is not about percentages anymore. And opportunities are enormous. मतलब मैं घर पे बैठे बैठे एक पेटीएम जितनी और बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ग्लोबल लेवल पे लॉन्च कर सकता हूँ.
Correct. These are the opportunities.
Right, these are the opportunities that we're talking about, right? So you will have to be aware about the environment because that is strategic acumen that will come in. Parallelly, now when this thing is happening with you as a leader, as a L&D leader or a HR leader, parallelly what I'm doing with building a competency internally, right? This is very, very important. So, capability building internally becomes, has to happen. It's like, somebody asked me ki yaar, language, linguistic, we were talking about language, like global scale pe, how localization would work and all that. I first asked, I said, so do you have only 6 dialects content in India? They said no. I said, why are you talking about global scale? They said English and Hindi. But हम जाते हैं बोलते हैं convert करा दो English, even Malayalam, Kannada. They come to me and say, no, it's a cost. I said, then what do you say? They're like, don't say anything. Like, then you have not done sales. So that's when you'll have to understand. You go back to those people and say, the only reason why we are short of, if you see any company, they'll struggle in South India the max. You become any SMB segment. I'm not talking about any industry. You do the research, you do the numbers, you'll say, सबसे difficult था हमें South में establish करना, team को सबसे late लगा. And same goes for South companies too. North India. And it's about localization. We don't do localization. We don't integrate the businesses. Integration of ecosystems have to be there. So that is there, and then you have to identify, food for thought. I'll give you food for thought. So how human beings learn and work, right? So human beings learn and work. I need failures. I need new challenges. Everybody wants. Even my CEO wants this. And they are isolated people, they don't know, a lot of times you have to get into their shoe, you'll realize some of them are very supportive, some of them are not, some of them are very raw and blunt, traditional organization, proprietorships, and all of that. And I'm saying it because I've been blessed enough to have had that fair amount of, discussion with these folks. And so you don't go there and say, कि मेरे को एक training program run करना है. You never do that. Never do that. That's what I'm just trying to convey. So these 4 factors, if it's there, as a base in your mind, you'll excel. So I believe these things that are worked out, and of course, this is probably 10-15 minutes or 5 minutes of talk, but there's a lot of it. You can write thesis around it. So, yeah, that's it.
So very nice. We'll interact more on this. So Hiresh, quickly, how to get CEO's mind share?
Almost everything has been covered with my co-friends. Gaurav has already briefed it so nicely. I come from an industry which does not run on the work from home or this coming 2-3 day office hybrid model. It's a hardcore construction industry where everybody has to pitch into the construction site right from there. So there's no work from home. So when I joined this organization, it was recently converted from a proprietorship firm to a private limited company. And when I have to convince to the promoters that yes, until unless you yourself accept management of change, nothing will going to happen. So when I joined, I understand their complete business module, put it on the paper. We have drive sense and strategic. So the strategic acumen, the basic thing, and how it has to be go, and what are their vision, mission. Again, the same with Chitra has briefed. Values of the organization, how you want that your people should behave, and how you create the sense of belongingness. So you have to design your all L&D module right from the bottom, then top. It's a downfall thing. So that the strategies are aligned to be work for that, where you take ownership of that L&D drive make the directors understand, then driving through the and execute it to the down level.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll quickly share two examples. I have worked fairly in the Lala companies and also in MNCs, so multiple times, started with MNC, then to Lala, then to MNC. So one of the example I'll try to share from my Unjal's experience with Hero Honda, and another one from my current organization, which is fairly MNC. So, and a caveat before I give an example, because when we are talking about how we approach CEOs, etc., I'm fairly assuming that unless until the CEO is like Subroto Roy or but it's not like that. CEOs never think that way. A CEO can actually give you $1 million check to just hire Virat Kohli for a event or for a promotion, which probably may not have any direct connection or how much sales it will increase. Just because he might see some value in association with that brand or that brand ambassador or whatever. So I think this is another myth that we all L&D professional live with, and और एक खौफ कि भी मेरे को तो value दिखानी पड़ेगी money के terms. It's not always that. It won't always have to show value in terms of money. If it is there, it's very good. But if it is not there, then what is that value which will bring to the table? So giving the example of Hero. So when Hero Honda became Hero Motocorp, when Hero and Honda decided to demerge and go separate ways, I'm talking about that day. It was 16 December 2010. So this demerger was announced, and and it was a Herculean task because Hero Honda was such a big brand. Every nook and corner from villages to cities, everywhere Hero Honda is like Hero Honda. And then suddenly, it is becoming a Hero Motocorp, how to communicate this to consumers and all of that, and shifting from, the whole transformation from the existing brand to a new brand. And that's where learning and development folks actually have to start thinking beyond learning. I mean, another problem with we L&D professionals is like we are, हमें Hanuman syndrome हुआ रहता है. First of all, we try to do everything. We think that we are the custodian of everything, and we should take everything, on our shoulders, and सारे employees मेरे ही बच्चे हैं और हम ही को सब कुछ करना है. So first of all, we need to democratize and decentralize a lot of learning, because nowadays learning and development doesn't happen because of one person, one department. Every being is a learning being, and we just need to give the right environment and ecosystem where people can learn their own way. Learning is more like faith. I want to pursue my faith my way. I don't want कि आप मुझे Zoom पे training दो या face to face. I might like Zoom, I might like face to face, I might like something else. But as an organization, am I giving all that options to my my organization, where people whatever they feel good, they should pursue. So मुझे अपना महंत या मौलवी नहीं बनना है कि मैं ही जैसा बताऊंगा सब सही है. We have to democratize it. So here are the options. You want to go for an IELT session, register, go for IELT. You have an online, you have this, that, and all these options. So that's the another way. So coming back to the Hero Honda. So what happened? So I was head of the learning and development, sales, learning and development in Hero Honda when this announcement was done. And me and my boss, so we actually worked through that. How can learning function now support in this whole transition? So we thought beyond learning. We thought it's not only about people. When this transition is happening, it is incorporating people, the process, and the whole environment, and not only from corporate office, but till every dealership at the right, at the last district of the country, where a Hero Honda dealership is standing. So we have to go beyond people and think about how we can bring that process and infrastructure and the whole environment can be transformed. So we actually we created a culture transformation project, a learning function designing a whole and we were not part of the HR, by the way, we were part of the function, the sales learning, and then we designed this project and went to the CEO and explained this. It took multiple rounds of negotiation, and you won't believe this project which we got approval and we finally delivered, and this project was about 120 million rupees. is the budget which we got approved, and we transform those dealerships end to end. I mean, to an extent that some of the dealerships were literally bulldozed down and erected from scratch, just to bring that new visual identity and all of that. So we created the whole IT infrastructure to manage these projects.
Here we have already shot out, and second point I don't know.
The question
second
is
पे वो rapid fire लगा देना ना. Second पे rapid fire timer लगा के एक मिनट. One.
So the question is very simple in nature, that how to make L&D function top priority of it. Right, and the answer is hidden in it, that what is the top priority, and we have to know that, and like you all contributed to that in abundance, and Gaurav, you were very highly articulated on that what are the key things, like where the shoe pinches actually, and how I can become the part of the solution provider. So one thing I'd like to say here, that we know that what are the strategic requirements of the organization, and what all training programs or the learning interventions are being done in whichever form, whether it is a core technical training or the leadership development programs. Everything has got a strong value in it. The only difference is the focus and belief. On one side, it is like, it is my calendar, I have to complete the calendar. I trust LMS more because I can track how many people have done, what is the NPS score, what is the overall rating, how many man days I have clocked. That is one focus. And another focus is how it is going to impact. It is otherwise also impacting, but the moment there is a focus, things start changing. So when I go and when I talk to the senior leadership or CEO, and I say that this is how this is going to help us achieving our vision. So if I give you the example of diagnostic industry, on one side, you have to train people